Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome members and guests to the 2020 OFDA annual meeting. Thank you for joining us. For succession of the OFDA officers to occur and to afford the members of the association the opportunity to bring business before the organization, our bylaws stipulate one annual meeting shall be held each year. Typically, this meeting would occur during convention, but today, given our circumstances, we will meet via this virtual forum. Following the award ceremony, I will address questions or concerns submitted by members previously, as well as open the floor for comments. A year in review. The decision to cancel the 2020 OFDA annual convention was something that we had hoped would not happen. Convention is an important time for the association. We look forward to seeing all of you every year. The ability of our members to network and see the newest innovations in funeral service, all while earning continuing education hours, is the highlight of the OFDA calendar. Due to the unprecedented restrictions that have come about by the global pandemic, we had no choice but to cancel the convention. While we could not meet in person, we have been able to keep our communication open by email, the digital director, virtual town hall meetings, and several webinars. We will cover a couple important elements of our convention today. The annual memorial service, the award ceremonies, including 25, 50-year committee and Young Funeral Directors Annual Distinguished Service Awards, the business meeting, and the installation of officers. My year serving as your president was moving along nicely, with OFDA accomplishing several goals. Then COVID-19 entered the picture. OFDA has been at the forefront of the response to fatality management in the state of Ohio. Initially, we were involved through OMORT, planning with the Ohio Emergency Management Agency and the Ohio Department of Health. Through the expertise of several OMORT members, OFDA leadership and staff, a plan to handle the surge in COVID-related deaths was formed. That plan has been modified several times, but is still in place should the need arise. OFDA has continued to meet by phone, of course, with representatives of the Ohio Department of Health, Ohio EMA, Department of Commerce, the Ohio National Guard, the Ohio Coroners Association, and the Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors, among others. During the COVID response, we have directed the conversation to the importance of protecting our members, including PPE availability and creating guidelines to be shared with hospitals, nursing homes, and other long-term care facilities. We've addressed your concerns through the chain of command up to the governor's office regarding PPE shortages and the funeral attendance exemptions. Through this process, OFDA has developed an even better working relationship with the Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors. Ohio Department of Health and Ohio EMA have leaned heavily on OFDA members as subject matter experts. We continue to monitor the situation via at least weekly phone calls with the planning group. At the same time, we've been gathering and sharing information with our members. We created a COVID tab on the OFDA website to serve as a clearinghouse of information. It is updated with current information as it becomes available. Before the pandemic hit, OFDA was on a roll. We offered several different CE programs, including master's training and apprentice seminars, webinars, and yearly visits to each of our districts. In October, your board of directors met in a strategic planning session to put together a guiding plan for the association over the next several years. Task force groups were created to address action items. These smaller action groups had started to work on their assigned issues. I expected to be further along on some of the issues, but we were derailed a bit by the pandemic. We had a terrific President's Cruise and annual educational conference that were both well attended and hopefully made lifetime memories. Through all of the ups and downs of the last year, the OFDA staff has been there to support me and the members of the association. I want to thank Melissa for her excellent leadership and counsel, Colin for his thoroughness and expertise in all the financial aspects of the association, Diana for her drive and commitment to getting the conventions ready, as well as all the other meetings that are held. Laura for her persistence and professionalism dealing with all aspects of her position, but especially with Master Trust. Amy B for her creativity and personal connection with our members. Amy Z for her longstanding commitment to the association, and Craig for his professional expertise and effort to expand our educational offerings. Their dedication to our members is evident every day that I work with them, and for that, I thank each one of them again. To our board of directors, thank you for your service to the membership. Having served on the board for almost 20 years, I have made lifelong friendships with many of you. Thank you for your input on the many issues we've tackled over the past few years. To the past presidents I've served under, Joan Billman, Terry Palmer, Ben Easterling, Brad Shute, and Lori Hicks, the examples that you set while leading the association were an inspiration. Your dedication to the association shows not only in the fact that you served as president, but also that you continue to serve the members. And I do want to take a special moment right now to acknowledge today is Ben Easterling's birthday, so happy birthday to Ben. To the officers I've served with this past year, Devin, Michael, and Mitch, I appreciate your insight and thoughtful contributions that you put in each discussion we had this year. Knowing I had you on the executive committee as a sounding board was a tremendous help. I appreciate the dedication to the association and your friendship. I want to thank my partners, Mike and Becky Krill, for their support during my time going through the chairs of OFDA. Their ongoing commitment to the association and professionalism is evident in everything that they do. Finally, I want to thank my wife, Amy, and our family. Their willingness to accept the time away from home while serving the association was at times difficult and at other times probably welcome. Thank you for allowing me the time to follow this calling. I could not have done it without you. Lastly, to the members of OFDA, I want to thank you for entrusting me with the position of president. It has been a privilege and an honor to serve a wonderful group of professionals and leaders within funeral service. I leave this office knowing the association is in good hands and the leadership that follows me. Now for our memorial service, although we were not able to gather in our traditional setting, the service of remembrance allows us to reflect, to honor, and recognize our colleagues and loved ones. A personalized tribute piece was sent to the families of the individuals whose deaths occurred between April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020. Through the generosity of sponsors, the tribute pieces were shared earlier this month. OFDA would like to thank Homesteaders Life Company, Matthews Aurora Funeral Solutions, Physicians Mutual, who made it possible to honor recipients with the crystal piece. Please join me in a moment of reflection in remembrance of those individuals. I would now like to introduce OFDA Treasurer Michael T. Smith, CFSP, to acknowledge several members for their contributions to our profession and the association. Michael?
Thank you, Gary. Each year, we want to honor those licensees who are celebrating their 25 and 50-year anniversary of being licensed. This year, through the Ohio Board of Embalmers and Funeral Directors, they've told us there are 47 individuals that we are honoring this year with their 25-year of license. Those names that appear before you have been sent a certificate along with a 25-year lapel pin honoring their service. And to all of them, we want to say congratulations. And now it is my honor to share those licensed funeral professionals that are celebrating their 50th anniversary. We appreciate your dedication to your profession and to your community. And today we honor Sharon J. Barnes, Terry J. Braymeyer, Wilbur Leland Viewer Jr., Edward J. Butler, Michael D. Danaher, Jack D. Davis, David H. Dickin, Wayne L. Everhart, John L. Fike, Don E. Fickus, Terrence P. Hennessy, Kenneth R. Heil, Charles Richard Johnson, Alan G. Ketzel II, Jack W. Kibble, Joseph D. Lanning, Walter E. Martins Jr., Noreen Nozek McCreary, Donald F. McDonald, John G. McGreevy, William D. McGuire, Jean Adair McCoy Moore, Joseph C. Mazinski, Thomas J. Mullaney, Edward J. Reese Jr., Anthony J. Taberry, William G. Urbanski, and John T. Wenzel. Each of these individuals received a plaque commemorating this achievement, and I would like to thank ASD Answering Service for sponsoring those plaques. Congratulations to each of these honorees for 50 years of service. OFDA exists through the efforts of countless volunteers who serve on OFDA committees. Today, we want to thank all of you who have given of your time and talent serving on these committees. And today we have a few members that we want to honor for their 5-year anniversary to these committees that they've served on. Bradley Bryant, Middletown, Scholastic Assistance Committee. Jeff Hardwick, CFSP Zanesville, Convention Committee. Jeff Hay, Cincinnati, Legislative Committee. And Kaylin Napick, Cleveland, Convention Committee. Committee engagement at all levels ensures the success and growth of your professional organization. And my sincere thanks to all who have served in the past on committees, who are currently serving. And if you're not serving, if you're interested, I would certainly encourage you to talk to any of the officers or call in and visit with Melissa, because we would love to have you involved with your association. In 2019, on behalf of the Young Funeral Directors Committee, OFDA established the Young Funeral Directors Annual Distinguished Service Award to recognize those young funeral professionals that have consistently demonstrated outstanding and professional personal contributions to his or her community and to the funeral service profession. This year, nominations were received identifying the outstanding work of these young professionals. Lauren Boffman, nominated by Dwayne R. Spence, both of Dwayne R. Spence Funeral Homes. Drew C. DeVore, nominated by Craig H. Hanneman, both of Hanneman Family Funeral Homes. J. J. Foster, nominated by Rebecca R. Foster, both of the J. E. Foster Funeral Homes. Timothy C. Milbourne of Campbell Plumley Milbourne Funeral Home, nominated by Ryan Meeker of E.C. Nuri Funeral Homes. And Kevin D. Schettinger, nominated by Barry Griffith, both of Schettinger Funeral and Cremation Services. We had a panel that consisted of members of the Young Funeral Directors Committee, the Board of Directors, and our Executive Director, Melissa Sullivan. We ranked the candidates based on the established criteria submitted on highly redacted applications, protecting the identity of the candidates and creating a fair evaluation. As you can imagine, the field was very competitive, as all of these candidates shine in their respective communities. Now, are you all ready for the results? In a tie for second, we have Drew DeVore and Kevin B. Schettinger. Congratulations to both Drew and Kevin for this recognition. And now, the 2020 Young Funeral Directors Annual Distinguished Service Award recipient is Mr. Jay Foster of the J.E. Foster Funeral Home. Jay is a second-generation funeral director working with his father in a small-town business with a second funeral home in a neighboring town. He has been an integral part of creating and opening the Jefferson Cremation Service and has chosen to dedicate his life to promoting funeral service. Jay is an active member of the Ohio Funeral Directors Association, the Ohio Embalmers Association, and also the National Funeral Directors Association. He is currently serving as president of the local school board. He's a member of the Toronto Lions Club, the United Way of Jefferson County, the Toronto Chamber of Commerce, a member of the First United Methodist Church in Toronto, and in all of his free time, he's also a sports announcer at the local basketball games. Congratulations, Jay. And I believe we have Jay on the call with us. If so, is there anything that you'd like to say, Jay? In lieu of the complimentary 2020 convention registration, Drew, Kevin, and Jay all received a $150 gift certificate, which can be used for any of the OFDA professional development courses. In addition, Jay was given a $500 gift certificate along with this award, and his name will be added to the plaque here at OFDA. I would like to sincerely thank all of the young funeral professionals who continue to define our industry and for your level of engagement, which truly exemplifies true leadership and serves as an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations to Jay and all that were recognized. I would now like to call the business session of the 2020 annual meeting of the OFDA membership to order. The floor is open. Is there any business from the attendees? Remember, you can type your comments in the chat section of the Zoom window, or if you would like to verbally comment, engage the raise hand function so that we can acknowledge you. While we are waiting for comments to come in, I would like to inform the membership, Mitch Hoyles, our current secretary and treasurer-elect, resigned from his office in early May. Mitch's decision was personally difficult and was not made in haste. He served the association well, and he will be missed on the executive committee. We wish him nothing but success and hope he can rejoin the executive committee when circumstances allow. Due to Mitch's resignation, OFDA has a vacancy in the office of treasurer. The OFDA bylaws do not allow an individual to serve in more than one office at a time. However, the position of immediate past president is not an officer in the association. At the board meeting held on May 20th, 2020, the board appointed me to serve as interim treasurer. The board has a duty to fill the vacant officer position, and as a member of the executive committee, there is no additional cost to the association as I would already be attending the meetings as the immediate past president. I agreed with the understanding that I will serve on an interim basis to fulfill the duties of treasurer until the board fills the office or until the next election. The board is now considering how to move forward by permanently filling the treasurer's office or by combining the office of secretary and treasurer. OFDA will keep members informed when the board makes the final decision on this matter. If there is no further business, and I see no comments that were sent in, I will close this session and invite immediate past president Lori Hicks, who will now conduct the installation of officers.
Thank you, Gary. I would like to start off by taking a moment to thank the current board members for the dedication and time spent representing the Ohio Funeral Directors Association in 2019 and 2020. It is my pleasure to install the board officers of 2020-2021 for the position of immediate past president. Gary M. Burr, CFSP. Gary, as stipulated by the OFDA bylaws, the immediate past president shall serve on the board for 1 year immediately following his or her tenure as president. We would like to thank you for your leadership, vision, and passion, and we welcome your counsel on the board as immediate past president. Ladies and gentlemen, your immediate past president, Gary Burr. And now, for the position of secretary. Lloyd E. Rankin of Voorhees and Ryan Funeral Home, Springdale. Lloyd, you have been elected to the office of secretary. Do you solemnly and sincerely pledge your allegiance to the office you are about to enter? Will you, to the best of your abilities, faithfully discharge the duties of your office and adhere to the bylaws of OFDA and perform any other duties which you may be asked to do? If so, answer, I will.
I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new secretary of OFDA. And for the position of president-elect, Michael T. Smith, CFSP, Snyder Funeral Homes, Marion. Michael, you have been elected to the office of president-elect. Do you solemnly and sincerely pledge to assist the president in the performance of his duties? Will you preside at meetings in his absence? Will you fill the office of presidency if a vacancy occurs? Will you, after having served 1 year as president-elect, succeed to the office of president? Will you adhere by the bylaws of OFDA? And will you perform any other duties which you may be asked to do? If so, please say, I will.
I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new president-elect of OFDA. Sorry, Devin. And now, for the position of president, Devin R. Woodyard of O.R. Woodyard Company, Columbus. Devin, please repeat after me. I, Devin R. Woodyard, assume this office.
I, Devin R. Woodyard, assume this office,
to which I have been elected by my peers.
to which I have been elected by my peers.
I will approach this office as a challenge,
I will approach this office as a challenge,
uphold the bylaws of OFDA,
uphold the bylaws of OFDA,
and always be willing to accept the counsel of my peers.
and always be willing to accept the counsel of my peers.
To the best of my ability,
To the best of my ability,
I will represent and promote the association and our membership.
I will represent and promote the association and our membership.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the new president of the Ohio Funeral Directors Association.
And Gary, if I can invite you up as well. So I'd like to present this as a token of appreciation for your service. It reads, let me get around here on the other side here. It reads, an appreciation for distinguished and outstanding contributions on behalf of funeral service during your tenure as president of the Ohio Funeral Directors Association, 2019 to 2020. So,
Thank you.
I will pass the gavel.
hold on now. All right, thank you. So I along with the other officers you saw today were installed, and there are 11 other members of the board, and I would like to recognize the following board members who are still serving their term on the board. At large, we have Amanda Krates, Findlay. Northwest Regional, we have Steve Hartwig, New Bremen. North Central Regional, we have Jason Fletcher, CFSP, Oregon. Southwest Regional Director Tim King, Goshen. And then NFDA Board Policy Rep, Ben Easterling, Canal Fulton. Earlier this year, ballots were distributed to OFDA member funeral homes with the following representatives were elected or appointed. At large director, we have Lauren Oxander. Northeast Regional, we have Charles Wilson. South Central Regional, Bill Taylor. East Regional Director, Nancy Castellucci. And ex officio, John Evans. And ex officio, Terry Palmer. I look forward to the year ahead and appreciate your commitment to bettering our association. So, and I would like to thank everyone for taking the time out of their day to attend this virtual meeting. I stand here deeply humbled yet extremely excited to serve as our state association president. First and foremost, I would like to thank my family and funeral home staff, if they're signed on, for allowing me the time and flexibility to serve in this capacity. I also want to acknowledge the OFDA staff for all the hard work they do in and day out. They have pulled together and adjusted so many times, switching gears, going from full convention prep to what are we going to do if we have to limit convention, to what if we do if we cancel, to dealing with refunds and also addressing sort of continuing education, webinars, guidelines, everything that sort of has come about from this pandemic. So I do want to say thank you to them. And also their hard work. I really don't think they've missed a beat, even though they haven't been in the office on a daily basis. Some of them have been working remotely, so thank you very much. I also want to mention what a privilege it has been to serve with some incredibly passionate, thoughtful, and genuine individuals, starting with Brad, Lori, and Gary, as well as many of the other past presidents. You've shown me what it means to lead and been a very great resource and sounding board, as I'm sure you will continue to be. So thank you. And then I also do want to say a special thank you to Melissa and Gary for all the hard work they've done over the last several months addressing this pandemic. The number of meetings and phone calls that we as officers are on is really enough in its own right, but over the past few months, they have done a tremendous amount of work and constantly been on calls, working on emergency response plans with the various state agencies, advising the Board of Health in terms of guidelines for transferring of remains, advocating for PPE for funeral directors, and also drafting guidelines as well as many other items concerning the pandemic. So thank you very much. I also would like to encourage anyone who is interested in serving on OFDA board. It does take time and it does take a little bit of work, but it does give you a lot back in terms of friendships, differing insights, and knowledge. So, you know, if you are interested, I strongly urge you to do that. The motto and slogan of this year's convention sort of was, "Together we thrive." I think most of us would agree that customer service is important in any business. I would even argue in funeral service, it's one of the most important things. What I wanted to convey with this slogan was we need to realize that every mediocre funeral negatively impacts every attendee's view of funeral service. We all need to work better together to elevate our customer service in order for our profession to continue to be valued by the families we serve. It is hard to put value or explain it, at least, the value of a funeral service, but you and I both know it's there. So let's show it. Well, I don't have all the answers and knowledge of the speakers that we had lined up at our convention. I do implore all of you to sit back and think about what impression people have when they walk into our facilities. What are our staff members inviting? Do we make conscious efforts to be hospitable? And most importantly, how do we respond to how do we and our staff respond to concerns and requests of the families we serve? Amazon and Zappos are probably two of the most customer service oriented companies I've encountered yet. I've never talked to Mr. Bezos, but what makes them special is their employees. They have the power to make customers happy, create wow moments for those individuals. If you think back and think about your own experiences over your time dealing with various businesses, there's two types of experiences you remember. One, the ones that were not very good, and secondly, the ones that made you feel special. So all the other ones, the mediocre ones, sort of fade away. So let's all work together and make sure that we are the ones that they remember. Even during this pandemic, many of you have done that and created wow moments, or those moments where families say, I didn't know that was possible. I bet if you ask the families who worked with a forward-thinking, concerned, customer-centric funeral professional in 5 years what their name was, they would still be able to tell you. However, I believe if a family was served during this time by somebody who wasn't willing to adapt services or create a unique service, if you ask them in 5 years, they may struggle with that question. So I'm not here to tell you to put anyone down or anything along those lines, because we all have days where we've fallen short and just nothing seems to go right. I am here to ask you to work together to help improve the value of service. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of the individual who told me this, but one guy told me, well, Devin, you don't know, or the only thing law school teaches you is you don't know, well, he used colorful language, but you don't know crap about anything and when it comes to the law. And so I sort of feel that same way when it comes to funeral service or customer service. You only get the slightest glimpse of all the things that matter. And so if we work together, we can help share those values and share those things to improve the service. So if you are willing, we would love to have you join a committee or task group and share your knowledge, insight on how we can help as an association, help our members make our industry stronger. Thank you for your time, and I'm honored to serve as your president. Thank you.